Hello and welcome to SteveKnows. Today we're comparing the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro performance metrics, more specifically its latency of its PCVR capabilities via the link cable, AirLink and virtual desktop. And the results actually surprised me. But I also want to talk about my experience as well because the data doesn't match what I was feeling. But also to be clear, the Quest Pro is not a gaming headset, and nor can I recommend it if you're looking for a new upgrade to play games. You might be better off waiting for the Quest 3, which should be out next year. This comparison was for my own curiosity, so enough chin wagging, let's get started. Starting with the Oculus Link, the cabled solution, which offers bit rates up to 500 megabits per second, although my experience has seen 250 to 300 being the most reliable. I'm using the USB-C port on my graphics card, my RTX 2080, and I'm using a Ryzen 7 2700X CPU. My Oculus Link tray, I have distortion curvature on high, enabled link sharpening, and disabled ASW to test its true performance. I've also left the rest of the options on default, which should run about 200 megabits per second for the cabled method. The app resolution is running at 4128 by 2096, and the encoder resolution is 3680 by 1920, and we are pushing out 72 Hz, so hopefully we get 72 frames per second, and this is the recommended setting on the Oculus app. But also be aware, you may see different stats depending on the hardware you're using as well. So here I'm playing Bone Lab using the Link, using the same little character and this same map and the same mode, playing the Fantasy Arena map. So the first thing I found interesting is the Quest 2 has a more consistent level of headroom available with it. Seems to be around 40 to 50%, although it can fluctuate, but it seems like it's regularly in that area. With the Pro headset, it looks to me to be dancing around a lot more between the 40 to the late 20% range. Both headsets are a solid 72 Hz though, but the app motion to photon latency through the link cable, you can see for yourself, it looks to be better on the Quest 2 device by a few milliseconds, and this surprised me. I thought the Quest was going to outperform it, but it hasn't using the Link. The motion to photon latency should be when you move your hand, how long does it take for you to see that movement inside the headset on your display? So let's check out the wireless method now, the AirLink. I am not using the AirBridge, I just could not get my headset to connect to it. That device is a shambles. I'm using a TP-Link Wi-Fi 6E router that uses a 5 GHz Wi-Fi 6 band, as the Quest Pro 6E support comes next year. So they'll both be using a 5 GHz band Wi-Fi 6. I'm also using a 140Hz channel for the largest bandwidth, and it's a dedicated router as well. Nothing else is using it, so there shouldn't be any interference, or at least minimal interference. And again, using AirLink, the app resolution is 4128 by 2096, and the encoder resolution is 3680 by 1920, and we are pushing out 72 Hz. I'm also using the default settings for this, so it should be around 100 megabits per second for the bitrate, and space warping is turned off. This method saw a substantial difference between the devices in terms of latency. Pro headset latency was sticking around 64 milliseconds, and the Quest 2 was around 56, which is about a 15% difference. So I'll let this play through a little bit and you can see for yourself and compare the data on screen.
Initiating. Stop it!
You can grab and throw bullets. You can grab and throw bullets.
Now onto Virtual Desktop, the third-party application that was around before the AirLink, the OG wireless solution from Guy Godin. This app is available on the Pico platform as well and the Quest platform if you were interested. So I was connected again via the same dedicated router, 72 FPS, 140Hz channel. Using the medium settings because I have a 2080 GPU, video buffering was off to reduce the latency, but the slicing was left on and the warping feature was disabled. Sharpening was set to 75%, and the bitrate I started out at 60, and this seemed to perform fantastically on both, so I bumped it, I maxed it out to 150 megabits per second. and I was also using the H.264 codec. And some of you may wonder, but Steve, you're using automatic bitrate. I see that it's on. What this actually does is it automatically sets a cap on the bitrate that I can specify to ensure stable network performance, so that isn't affecting the bitrate that I've actually set. So I played Space Pirate Trainer and Superhot, and here, however, the Pro seemed to perform a little better. Its frame rates were way more stable, and the latency was steady as well, around 33 milliseconds on the Pro, sometimes edging to 34. The Quest 2 latency and frame rates were a little more unreliable, but they were still fantastic, don't get me wrong. I'm just being nitpicky because that's why we're here. So it seems that the Quest Pro got outperformed using the official Oculus methods, and then the third-party application, the Quest Pro, did a little better there. And in the future, we may see the Quest Pro do even better on the wireless solutions as well. Once it's got Wi-Fi 6E support and it's using the 6 GHz band, the network latency should reduce a little bit. So comparing the two devices, in this setting, there are a few things to consider. The Pro headset has been out for just a few days, and it may not be optimized for this use case because, as I said, it is a business device. It's not made for gaming. The Oculus Link methods have been optimized for the Quest 2 device over the past couple of years now. This is speculation, I don't know what's going under the hood, but could be why you saw different results on a first-party application that's dedicated for the Quest and the Quest 2 versus a third-party solution. My experience inside the headset as well was vastly different to the numbers that we were seeing on screen. They don't represent very well what I was actually experiencing, because overall both devices were actually performing relatively decent and performed outstandingly on virtual desktop. They were all running at decent bit rates, so they both gave me great visuals, and the latency was barely noticeable if I wasn't looking for it. But the Quest Pro was a better PCVR experience for me, at least due to the other features that the headset brought to the table. Its pancake lenses are the best I've come across. They are phenomenal and provide much better clarity. The panel is also LED backlit on the Pro, so the colours were so vibrant. Robo Recall looked so good on the Pro that when I took it off and put on the Quest headset, it was a shocking realization to see the difference between these displays. And of course, comfort. The Pro had better comfort due to its strap design, but for the price point, you expect those sort of creature comforts. So I'm not going to stand here and recommend the device that's 1,500 quid so you can have a better looking PCVR experience, because they both perform well and they both look decent. I just hope the video has provided you with a little more knowledge for an informed decision or to satisfy your curiosity. So that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Please consider subscribing, and hopefully I will see you next time. Have a great week. Happy gaming, guys. Good day!